I'll say let us continue with the transmission in the following manner. All will become as comfortable as you can. Close your eyes if you wish. When you are feeling comfortable in your position, take a deep breath in and let it out. Take another deep breath in, slowly, let it out. And one more time, take a deep breath in and let it out. Breathe easily, comfortably, in a relaxed manner. Let your body relax. Let your feet relax, your legs relax, your hips relax, your torso relax, shoulders relax, hands, arms relax, neck, muscles relax, face, muscles relax, scalp, muscles relax. Loosen your jaw muscle. Just breathe. Just feel yourself floating along. And now, if you will, imagine that you are on the surface of the ocean and you are in a kind of deep diving vessel. Tis not claustrophobic. Tis of your own design. Tis as spacious as you want it to be, or as intimate as you want it to be, made out of whatever you want it to be made out of. If it is transparent, that is fine. If it is not transparent, allow it to at least have a viewing window through which you can look. And by whatever means you may imagine, pragmatic or miraculous, you have no problem breathing inside this deep diving vessel. The air is fresh and comfortable. Temperature is comfortable. The way you are either lying down, sitting, or standing in it is comfortable. It is almost like an extension of you, of your body. And as you bob up and down in the waves on the surface, you look out and you see beautiful sun-dappled surface of the ocean with 1,000 little glints of light. And it stretches far, far off into the horizon. Now and then, perhaps, either a fish or a dolphin may poke its head up, cause a little splash to occur with its tail, just enough to let you know that there's activity below the surface. And as beautiful as the surface may be, and the sky above, and the clouds, and whatever land there may be in sight, and as beautiful as the color of the surface may be, and the day and the wind may be, the splashing has gotten your curiosity. And you decide that you will just take a little dive down a little ways just to see what's going on down there. below the surface. And so you allow your mind to control in whatever way you wish, either by creating your levers or buttons in front of you, or just with mind control. You allow yourself to just sink below the surface a little bit. It is still brightly lit below the surface by the sun. And you can begin to see that there is life here. A few little beautiful, colorful fishes swimming around. Some very interesting ones of different sizes and shapes swimming around, looking back at you with equal curiosity. And you see below that the color of the ocean shifts to a deeper blue. And you decide that you're curious enough to see what's down there too. And so you allow yourself to descend a little bit further, just a little bit, into a beautiful deep blue, level layer of the ocean. And you see that there are different kinds of animals and fish down at this level, doing slightly different things, moving in slightly different ways, and you begin to get a sense of the different layers and levels of community and communication that exist within the ocean. And you look down and see that it is deeper blue still below you, and with your curiosity heightened, you decide you will really explore a little bit further, and you allow the deep diving vessel to sink and descend a little bit more into the deeper layers of the blue. Deep blue, not quite indigo. And you begin to see, again, different forms of life. Some of them may seem a little strange. Some of them may even seem a little bit scary, but that's all right. You're perfectly safe, comfortable, at ease in your deep diving vessel made of impenetrable material. But you have a perfect window on this strange, mysterious world at this level of the sea. And you see below you that it becomes darker still, and you move down through the layers into a deep indigo all around you, maybe even with just the slightest tinge of violet to it. There is still some sunlight reaching, but it is faint. You are now really in a deeper world, a different world, and you begin to sense that there are larger forms of life down here, doing things very differently than the forms of life above. A very different kind of ability to navigate through the semi-darkness with different senses that reach out, that feel, that hear, that receive and send different wavelengths of energy, all through this layer, all through this deep, deep indigo. And you look and you see that there is a darker layer yet below you. And you let the deep diving vessel go down. And now you find that the layer around you deepens, darkens to very, very deep, deep purpley blue. Very deep, almost black, but not quite. And now you begin to sense other life, sense it almost more than see it, although hear And there might be little flashes and flickers of light from bioluminescent, self-light generating organisms. And some of them, when you catch a quick glimpse, here and there, may seem very strange, very alien to you, of very different configuration than the life far above you. Yet you still know and still remember that light up above, and even though it doesn't seem so, you know it is still reaching down through the depths, and that there is always a connection to that light above. Always. And now you feel, yet again, a tug, deeper still. And you allow the deep diving vessel to descend into velvety, space-like blackness. And yet there is a substance to it. It's not an emptiness. It's its own dimension. And you sense that there is, even here, near the ocean floor, an intelligence, an awareness of you, and you don't quite know how you are aware of it, but you are. And then you decide that you will switch on the lights of your deep diving vessel and illuminate what is just around you. And in and out of those lights, you see life forms gliding, sliding past, strange, mysterious, never revealing exactly all of their shape and size, but just a fin, just a tail, just a scale, just a hint. Here an eye. And you sense that these, so close to the ocean floor, they form a kind of foundation. Everything from all the upper layers it eventually sinks down to this level. Eventually, one way or another. And this level absorbs it, builds on it, makes everything that filters down from the top its own, builds its own unique sense of community, idea, reflection, foundation, and you allow your deep diving vessel to go all the way to the bottom, and you land on the ocean floor with a soft thud. And you sit there, and you realize how quiet it is. And you realize that somewhere down here there is an intelligence and an awareness that gives rise to everything above it. And you reach out your senses and you search with your lights. You do not immediately see what it could be. There are all the familiar life forms swimming around, the ones you have now become familiar with. No matter how strange they may be, you understand. They are their own form of idea, their own form of life. They have their own community, their own layer, their own level, their own understanding, their own intelligence, their own reason for being. But there's something else down here with you that seems to permeate everything, everywhere. It is deep and it is abiding. It is forever. And yet you have encountered it seemingly for the first time. Become aware of it for the first time, yet you know it has always, always, always been there. Waiting. Waiting for you to make contact. Waiting for you to allow yourself to descend through the layers of ideas and beliefs and feeling and knowledge and definition. Waiting for you to make contact with the core. And you sense it now as a deep thrumming in the ocean floor, in the earth itself, the core vibrating like a molten heart, pumping, pumping, pumping life into everything above it. And you realize that here lies the key. That fluidity, that moltenness, that heat that lies just beneath the surface of the ocean floor can instantly allow the floor just above it to sink, and you and your diving vessel sink into the ocean floor, through the ocean floor, and into the molten core. And with your impenetrable diving sphere, you see that you are surrounded by the beautiful, thick liquid of the core. You are in the crucible, the forge, from which ideas and beliefs and definitions and feelings and thoughts are formed. But you are in the raw state before it is crystallized into anything that is recognizable as a form, as a life, as an idea. Here in the core is the beginning of all things that you know as the life above. And you realize that it all comes down to this, that all the things above come from the same place, come from the one core. And as you have this thought, suddenly, this thought, this feeling, this idea, puts you in touch that it's so quiet here in the core that you can actually hear your heartbeat. And you realize that your heart is beating at exactly the same rhythm as the core is pulsing around you. And as you imagine, and as you hear, and as you feel this heartbeat, you remember that with every beat of your heart, it sends out an electromagnetic pulse at the speed of light. And it goes through what you thought was the impenetrable skin of your diving vessel. Your diving vessel is transparent to this vibration. And the vibrational beat of your heart causes a stir, a vibration in the core fluid around you, and a pulse comes back in answer to your heartbeat. And the two heartbeats begin to communicate, begin to talk, begin to understand each other, begin to know each other, begin to become each other. And you realize as the feedback from your heart reaches you from the outside, passing again through the impenetrable skin of your diving vessel and coming back to you, that the very thought that you send out comes back changed, different. You have changed the world around you. Curious to see what this change has wrought, you allow your diving vessel to begin to ascend up through the molten core, up through the dividing line between the hot and the cold ocean floor, and it solidifies around you and under your diving vessel. And somehow, there's a difference. The forms of life around you in the deep are not quite the same. The flashes of light are not quite the same pattern. Something has changed. Something is different. Something is new. And you rise up through the layers, through the deepest blue, into the lighter blue, the lighter blue, the lighter blue, all the way up until you are once again breaching and bobbing, splashing on the surface, and looking at the horizon, looking at the ocean, stretch out all around you. It is still a glorious day, but there is something different. Something that's not quite the same as when you began the dive. And then you realize the difference is you. You are not quite the same. You have been transformed by your journey into the depths of your being. And you have brought back with you an entirely new you that takes its cue from the change you made in the core belief with your heart, with your heart's desire. Desire drove you down into the core to immerse you in your definitions and to instill and extract from you the dedication to recognize and be who you know yourself to be, and the detachment to release from the new core you crystallized, to rise back up so that you can observe and experience and live the results of the new idea you created yourself to be, which will expand your desire to explore all the more who and what you are, and how many different oceans you can discover when you rise to the surface yet again. From each and every trip you take into the core, you will rise to the surface of a different sea. A different sea. A different sea. And you will see things differently, because you are different than you used to be. Take a deep breath in and breathe in the day, and breathe in the salt air and the freshness of the new world you have created. Take a deep breath in and open your senses to the sights and sounds of the new world all around you, and the freshness of the reality that you have given birth to by birthing yourself anew. Take a deep breath in and feel the expansiveness of the new beginning that you have opened to you every moment of every day with every choice that you make. Every change is a total change. and the world is never the same twice, from moment to moment to moment. Core belief is the passage to your inner self, the choices you made coming into this life. And when you visit the core belief, the core doorway, you stand on the threshold of all possibilities yet again, the same possibilities you had available to you in spirit when you decided to be physical. You can rearrange the agreement in that space. All of the ink vanishes, and the paper is clean. Rewrite your contract with yourself in all the ways that are important to you. Make a declaration of independence with your signature on it, and declare yourself free to be who you prefer to be. Anytime, every time, all the time. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. And welcome to a new world. A new world. Land of the free. Home of the brave. Now, let's take a look at the diagram of all the circles and the jagged spiral. Allow yourself to take that diagram, hold it in your two hands. Two hands. Two hands. Two hands. Hold it at a distance from your face that is comfortable so you can take in the entire image comfortably. Don't focus too close. Don't hold it too far. Just at the right distance where you can see the whole image and get a sense of the three-dimensionality of the jagged spiral when it begins to start looking more three-dimensional, like a box. When you see lines that really look like they're moving towards you, going away, when it starts to take on that quality, that's the right distance. Even if it only lasts for a fraction of a second, that's the correct focal point. Just look at it. Don't concentrate. Just look at it. Just look at it. Now, start at the top of the spiral and allow yourself to slowly slide down the spiral through the circles. Just follow the line easily and comfortably all the way down to the center circle. Take your time. No right way, no wrong way, just take your time. And when you get to the center, whenever that may be, just rest there for a moment. And see that your focal point is surrounded by all the other circles. Now, once you are in the center, allow yourself again to make sure that you are holding the image at the correct focal length to be able to see the three-dimensionality of it. And even some of the circles may start to look like they are laid out in a three-dimensional matrix. That's all right. Again, it may be subtle. It may be bold. It doesn't matter. But as your mind attempts to make sense out of the idea that the spiral looks three-dimensional, it will also make an attempt to see exactly what the relationship of that spiral is to the circles, and that may allow some of the circles to start looking like they are not exactly in the same plane with each other either. Let that happen if it does. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Now follow the spiral out from the center. Follow the lines as they flow all the way back out to where you started at the top of the diagram, whatever pace is comfortable for you. And come back out to the top. Now, you can do this at your own pace later. Right now, I am simply telling you how to use this tool. So follow along for now with the pacing I am giving you. You can do this later in your own time, in your own way, at your own pace. All right. Now, you have circumnavigated this structure once, in and out, just for its own sake, just learning the path, just feeling your way and starting to get a sense of the dimensionality that is inherent in this form. That's step one. Now, here's step two. You will do the same thing again, but this time, before you go down the spiral to the center, what you will do is take with you an intention to discover a core belief, an intention to have a core belief revealed to you. That's all, just the intention. Nothing more, no expectation, just intention. With that intention to be shown a core belief, go down the spiral again in all of its dimensionality until you come to the center. Hang, float, sit, whatever you wish, in the center for a moment, and just be open to being shown an image, or getting a feeling, or a symbol, or an idea, or a memory, or an imagination, or a color, or a picture, or a word, or a sound. It doesn't matter. Just take it to heart that in some way, shape, or form, that represents the first step in getting in touch with a core belief. If it goes farther than that and expands into something bigger, that's fine. But it doesn't have to at this time. Once you have received that, even if it is simply an emptiness, and it simply comes to a point where you simply know it is time to go, whether you felt like you got anything or not, then when you feel it's time to go, go. Leave the center and come back up the spiral, back to the top. Now, at that point, look around at whatever beliefs you may be in touch with about yourself and see if any of them start to take on a slightly different perspective. See if any of them look a little different. Look at the situations in your life and see if any of them have taken on a slightly different point of view, or if you are looking at them a little bit differently or feeling a little bit differently about them. Or you see yourself as occupying a little bit different role, part, or position with regard to that situation you were in before you went down the spiral. Come back up and see if anything looks or feels or sounds or tastes or smells a little bit different than it did before. Once you have done that, allow yourself to examine at that point whatever you wish to examine. Let that recognition or realization take you wherever it needs to go. And once you have spent a little time with that, according to whatever is comfortable for you, and you have made a decision that you want more revelation and more or alteration of your point of view and your relationship to that situation, then with that decision for an expanded point of view or an increase in informational flow, take that idea down the spiral again to the center at whatever rate is comfortable. Sit with it and see if more knowledge, more insight, more information comes, or if you suddenly start to feel more unlocked. If you start to feel a growing vibration, maybe even of excitement, maybe even of fear, but feel something growing, something more, something opening up, something changing, something around you. You don't know what it is maybe, but that's all right. You just start to sense there's a deeper picture, a bigger picture, more than you were formerly aware of. Opening up. Like a flower, like a seed opening into a flower within you. It may not be completely coherent. You may not have words to describe it. It may be quick, it may be slow. But once you feel it is time to go, come back up the spiral, all the way to the top, and again look at whatever situations draw your attention, and again see, feel, or experience if your relationship to that situation is different yet again, and how it's different. Take whatever time, spend whatever time you wish to examining that difference. Allow yourself to develop a better understanding of the new relationship you now have with that circumstance, that situation, that idea, that belief. And once you have taken this third journey, first time just going in and coming out to get a sense of the dimensionality, second time with intention, as we said, to be given something about a core belief and coming out and seeing if there's a difference. Third time, taking that difference and wanting it to expand down into the core and coming out again with a different, expansive point of view. Once you have done those three things, go into it one more time with one focus only. At the top of the spiral, take everything that has happened, just sort of sit with it, as you say in your language, just neutralize it, put it there for later examination, it's not going away, and now just ask the question, why? And go down the spiral again. And once you arrive at the center, be very quiet and see if something answers you. Whatever it is, when you feel you've gotten some kind of a response, come back up the spiral. That's enough for one day. Then, as you come back up the spiral, having done these 4 trips down to the core and back up again, these 4 journeys down the path and back up to the surface again, take all of that and allow yourself this recognition. Say, I am open to synchronicity. I am open to dream. I am open to guides. Then allow yourself to see and make a note of whatever further information and insights come to you during the day in synchronicities, and whatever information comes to you in your dreams or from what you take to be your guides. Write them down, note them, pay attention to them, write them down, mark them. When you wake up, when you receive the synchronicity, as soon as possible, as fresh in your mind as possible, write down the idea, the inspirations, the imaginations, the synchronicities, the dream revelations, or the scenarios that come to you as clearly as you can, as quickly as you can. Then look at what you have been given and see in all that information from that day and night how it might relate to an opportunity or a situation or a doorway or a window that will lead to something you can act on that will change the situation you are in, if that's what you want, or will put you more in touch with core beliefs, if that's what you prefer. See what has changed, see what insights you have been given. Then the next day, do the same thing over again. Take the 4 trips down the spiral and back up with all the same intentions we just said, more and more. And then again, pay attention to the synchronicities, the inspirations, the messages, the dreams. Write them all down, note them, and see how that information may relate to the unfolding in your life on a daily basis. Note them. Very important. Now, before you do this every day, and if again you have to write them down, that's fine. Before you begin your first journey down the spiral with this particular image, give yourself a moment, get into a relaxed state, and either tell yourself out loud or think it to yourself or feel it, but as strongly as you can, I do this with desire to define my dedication to detach. I do this with desire to define my dedication to detach. I do this with desire to define my dedication to detach. I do this with desire to define my dedication to detach. So be it. Say it 4 times. Finish with, so be it, or amen, or hallelujah, or whatever you wish. That is for you a finalizing acceptance of your desire to define your dedication to detach. Do that little ritual first. Do the 4 trips down the spiral and back out. Notice and log your synchronicities, inspirations, and dreams. You will find within 30 to 90 of your days, your life will begin to contain things you will be astonished to find in your life. Opportunities, synchronicities, doorways, people. You will be amazed. Until you get to the point where amazement is the order of the day. This will unlock you. Do it if you wish to unlock. Do it if you desire to define your dedication to detach and discover your core beliefs and recrystallize your reality into what you prefer it to be, into that which is aligned with your core being. Rewrite the contract with fresh ink and a new signature. Declare your independence and your freedom. Rise to the occasion of yourself, of your existence. Rise to the occasion of your being. Rise to the occasion of the potential of your life. Rise to the recognition and acknowledgement and acceptance of who you were created to be. To be. To be. Take a deep breath and expand. Take a moment. Just sit with yourself for a moment. Feel what just this moment may have done to you in terms of changed little things within you, little feelings, little vibrations, little ideas, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Feel the potential of your being. Feel the desire build within you to discover who you are. Feel the moment of revelation when you crack the code of a definition. Feel the certainty of the commitment and dedication you call forth in declaring your freedom to be who you are, and attract what is reflective of that. Feel the compassionate detachment to all things not you. And then feel your desire amplify to do only those things that are, and continue the cycle and spiral upward and upward and upward, magnifying your magnificence and the magnificence of all that is that you reflect.